I had trumpet lessons. I wasn't very good, and I had a great trumpet teacher who said, "You should play the drums." And the reason he just said you should because you're funny. I don't think he thought I was a comedian. He thought I was a bit funny. And he very kindly gave me. He was left-handed. He taught me how to play, but he taught me how to play left-handed, which ended up being a benefit because I'm right-handed. But I started left-handed.
This is Rob Ruckus.
Hey, this is Kate Clover.
Hey guys, it's Nick Collins here from The Effect and Better Strangers.
Hi, my name's Madeline Rose.
Hey, it's Ben McKelvey.
It's Tim Howard here from Mike and the Mechanics.
Hello, I'm Amanda Lehman.
I'm Billy Harvey.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Casey Sampson from the band Twist Stop.
Hey, it's Tony from Fastball.
Hello, everybody. My name is Isaiah Mitchell.
Hey guys, it's Matt here from the White Lakes.
You're listening to Almost Famous Magazine.
Come join us for this interview. Check it out, Almost Famous Magazine.
Welcome back to The Hang, everyone, right here on Almost Famous Magazine. I'm your host, Scott Saldinger, and we bring you weekly conversations with musicians and artists from all genres, sharing their stories from all over the world. If you're new, please hit the button, subscribe, share this with your friends. It helps us, and it really helps the artists we speak to as well. You can also take us with you anywhere you get your podcast, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more. Been working on this hang for a while, and I'm super excited to have a drummer and creative extraordinaire, Mr. Simon Hanson, whose resume spans too many recordings and bands to list, but his current gig, is some of you may be aware of. He's been the drummer in Squeeze for the better part of, he'll correct me if I'm wrong, I got to say 17 or 18 years now. Outside the band, between other drumming work, Simon's taken to making videos that are so attention-grabbing and thought-provoking. He's taken it to the next level. I love his work, and we're going to make sure that there are links down below so you can see it. He's creative. He's dynamically energetic. He's funny. He's sonically experimental, and more of that, and all before 9 a.m. on any given day that ends in the letter Y. Simon, welcome, my friend. Welcome to The Hang.
Hi, Scott. It's good to see you again. Thank you for letting me write my own intro.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I you know what the funny thing is I actually asked the internet to write it for me, and they did a horrible job. So I wrote my own. And by the way, there was no money exchanged for that intro. By the way, I have many platitudes for this gentleman. He's an incredible musician and creative, and I'm excited for us to be hanging today. Here's where we usually start these conversations, kind of as a launch pad. I'm always fascinated by the question of, when you were young, did music find you, or did you find music? What is your musical origin story?
That's a really good question. Music finds you. It's a simple answer. For me, I don't know whether you know this story, but I wanted to be a pilot, and I'm colorblind. And I went, and I was already playing drums, but it was more of a pipe dream. I went to go solo, and you have to have a medical, and they just, this is 70s, 80s, 70s. And they're like, no, you'll never fly. So I walked out of the room and said, all right, rock star. I remember saying that in my head as a joke.
Yeah. Well, so when the pilot thing didn't work out, were you already playing? When did you first encounter kind of having a musical sense about you and that desire to drive yourself to become a professional musician?
Great. I had trumpet lessons. I wasn't very good, and I had a great trumpet teacher who said, you should play the drums. And the reason he just said you should because you're funny. I don't think he thought I was a comedian. He thought I was a bit funny. And he very kindly gave me, he was left-handed. He taught me how to play, but he taught me how to play left-handed, which ended up being a benefit because I'm right-handed. But I started left-handed and then switched over when I realized. Because that's a different thing for drummers, Scott. It's you set.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what was that transition like, going from something that was not your natural proclivity of it being right-handed to transfer that?
I think it was really good. I think in the early days when I had some exercises, I would always lead with my weaker hand. I think that was good. So it was. I'm mentioning it as a good thing. He was a great guy. We'd have school orchestras, and he'd come up to me when I was playing the timps, and he'd just go, hit that fucking things, and I was like 14, 15, and it was an environment, those days swearing wasn't what it is today. And he was amazing. I called him, I'm sure he's dead now because he's a lot older than me, but I called him up years later, just said thank you after things were going really well. And I got his number. I said, thank you. It's worked out. And he was like, oh, good. I knew you would.
So from playing timpani and learning to left-handed to make it a right-handed, was there a moment that came about that you're like, wait a minute, I've got this and I want to make music my career? I mean, what did it land like you? Did it land in a moment, or was it a journey? What was it like for you?
I was lucky. I knew that I wanted to do it. So, and felt that I was really ambitious, and I sort of in my head had already decided that was the case. And I moved to London when I was quite young, and auditioned for everybody, and would play in cover bands, and it never changed. I think it didn't really come together till I was 30. I was in wedding bands before that. But it was never, I think from that moment on, I thought I'll do that. I mean, I've had many jobs as well, but it wasn't just, I will be a professional musician. I worked millions of jobs. Yeah, haven't for years.
I'm curious, what were some of the jobs that you did along the way? And did any of that learning doing those jobs transfer into your life and the things that you do today or have done over the course of your career?
No, not at all. Every single job I did, I was a drummer who was funding. I was aware that I was funding the fact that I could go and play the drums. And it's one of the theories I've got now, actually. It's like in art creation, half your day is working out how somebody will pay you to be an artist. And that was the same when I was, I used to clean old people's homes. But I was a drummer, and I'd walk in as a drummer, and I knew I was, and they all knew I was, because I talk about that. So I think that's very relevant. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that, because I don't know how this started, but I want to learn, because as well as I do that I've sent you messages. I love the videos you're making. They are so creative,
yes.
Right? And I think things started around when we're all kind of locked up in a room alone. But when did you get into video production and start to kind of define your brand of video making?
Well, I was with Glenn Tilbrook, and it may have at an awards ceremony. I can't remember which one. And they, you have those packages where they give you a present, and in that was a flip camera, and that was it. That was day one, and it's amazing. It was like, okay, so you could this is pre-iPhone. So this is, I don't know when iPhones came out. But iPhones definitely killed the flip camera, but it was there. You've got this camera, a USB flipped out, and you put it in your computer. And editing software was just starting to happen. And that's when I just used to make films for the band as like a diary. It was more of a diary, so I'd remember it one day, I think, than anything else. And that was it. That free flip camera. I haven't got it anymore. I think I bought about 10 after that one anyway. But yeah. But
it's funny. I had one myself.
Yeah, but that's when video editing was evolving, and then Max had iMovie, which was sort of terrible but amazing because it was doing the job of a $100,000 piece of equipment in front of you, and that's where it started, and it still goes on.
Yeah, no, I think you've got a pretty hefty output. How much preparation are you putting into those ideas? Because each video that you make that I've noticed, and you've evolved from, and I want to talk about just the drumming on the green screen and those little sonic films you've made, to now it seems every single video you make has a very specific purpose. They're very well scripted out and thoughtful in the way that you're really doing an amazing job combining those visuals with the idea.
Right.
Are you,
yes.
tell me how that's.
I'm learning to do that. I think we're going through a brilliant, this evolution starting with the flip camera to now. I've realized that being a filmmaker is a viable income stream. And I am now working on that. It isn't yet. All the video output I've done, all it's really done is made me busier. It's like a business card. I mean that's what an album is, really. Truthfully, it's kind of a business card, and I think people can see what I'm doing. They see I'm active, and they keep in touch. And I think it's kept me working outside of sort of Squeeze, which is my main thing. But it's given me the opportunity to do some other things. And I've done a couple of brand deals, tiny ones, but it is feasible, to turn it into an income stream.
It's interesting. Did you ever imagine that when you were playing, in the early days of playing drums, having those bands and kind of working your way up, that eventually you'd have to expand yourself this way artistically?
Not really.
Did you ever imagine that?
I was talking, I've lived through the heyday. There were no big labels when I was a kid. They grew and they massive and they had money, and I lived through where they would finance a band without it being financially successful at first, and then developing things to that disappearing and dropping off with the media revolution, and it's sort of back to before now. Like Elvis was the first person to sell records out the boot of the car or whatever, or sell merch. And we're sort of back to those days, really, in a way. But we have the internet. We can market to the world. It's very democratizing. Is that a word? You can put your stuff on YouTube, and you will, if people sniff at it and like it, Google will want that to push that out more to keep their eyeballs on it. So it's a bizarre democratization. I can put a record out today, and it could be a hit.
I mean, that's one of the great things I love about the internet is you never know what one little thing, and it could be what you don't think is the hot spot, the hot point, can just grab on. Someone grabs a hold, pushes it out, and the next thing you know, that tiny little message, whether you felt it was relevant or not, can mean things to other people.
Yes. I was intrigued by this, and everyone goes into this fancy world of the algorithm, but it's just that word is the audience. If people are looking, every single platform will kick it out more because they've got a vested interest in keeping eyeballs on the screen. So, yeah, that's a weird type of democracy. It's a painful one because often nobody looks at what you're doing, and of course, there's an exponential curve because more music and videos going up every day. So there's a massive wave. You've got to get your head above it. What did Owen from the band say the other day? It's a race for the middle ground. You've just got to be, there's so many people in the middle. You've just got to be above it. And but what you just said there is really right. It's usually the thing that you didn't think was very good is the thing that tips. Yeah, who knows?
Look, I went to film school. The projects that I thought were great, people hated. The projects that I hated, people thought were great. I have photographs that I've taken that I think are trash that people love, and I'm like, hey, that's a great photo, and they're like, nah, it's okay. So, you just never know what someone's going to latch onto as what they find that value in.
There's something that happens for me though, where music collides with film. When you watch a film, it's so powerful in that context. And I think that, music's amazing. I'm so lucky to have had a life in it. But for me, now it's something that, because I can edit, I can film. The main camera I use is my phone, not even the big camera. They're so good because you're there with it. And it's now down to your own creativity and storytelling, which is the hardest bit. The very hardest bit. And some people can just do it. Some of the big guys on YouTube, they just know how to tell a story. And they're not, I don't think they're doing it, but they do.
Does storytelling come easy for you? And does making your tour diary videos help you with your creativity outside of what you do on the road?
I think so. That was me sort of editing on the road. I was getting a bit older, didn't want to go out as much, party, and to use the time, because there's a lot of time on the road where you're hanging around, and because you can edit on a laptop and it's the only two pieces of equipment I use is a phone and a laptop. That was a good time. So I think that was me getting older and thinking, well, I'll sit in the hotel room and do this rather than go out partying. Still go out now and again, don't we, Scott? We've been, haven't we?
Yeah,
I know.
I don't think you've given it up for good.
Yeah, it's not over, and we will do it again.
No,
but
we will again for sure.
Yeah, that's and I love. There's an explosion when sound and picture are really useful. I'd love a story about Tarantino in the success of. Oh, look at me! Who's on? I am actually on Do Not Disturb, but there it goes. Tarantino. The reason Reservoir Dogs was so successful is because he went to Warner's and then Warner could clear the music, because all the music he wanted wasn't getting cleared because it was so expensive. And the second he was at Warner's, they went, yeah, we'll get you that. And I love his films, but he's such a curator of music that works with the picture. And that's one of his superpowers, I think.
It's interesting. Last night I was watching a video. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Mr. Robot, but Sam Ismail wrote that.
Oh yes, I did. Yes, I have the film, the Netflix series.
Yeah. And he was talking about, because in that's his storytelling, he was using voiceover,
right?
And he was talking about, some people see using voiceover as a weakness. Yet he was trying to almost use it in the same way that you would use, like Tarantino would use music to really advance and hold up the character. And he did it really well. And I think that that's one of the things about filmmaking that I know I love. If you have a canvas, and there are some people who just focus on the canvas and they forget the rest of that experience.
Yes.
Right.
There's something that drives the story, if there is a story in some of the vlogs. I've just learned to do this. I've started doing it. Is I do the soundtrack without any film going on now. So I will. One of my short films will just be the audio. I'll narrate it, whether I'll use it in the end or not. But that's the template, the narration, and I'll find bits of music, and then they'll cut to that. So the sound is the start of it, whether it's speech or music and that bed, and that's the best way to do it because it always works.
Yeah, no, I mean it's brilliant. I'm curious about some of the videos because the video tends to be very intentional. Are you constantly out taping things? Are you creating your own library of clips to use when you have a need, or are you going out intentionally and just having to collect all of it at one time?
No, I don't have a library. It's very much done on a basis of, the only library I have is I empty my phone for certain projects when I'm doing, and they'll go into files. I'm not brilliant at housework, digital housework. I should be better. And I've started using better SSD hard drives, but nowadays, a terabyte's gone on 2 projects now because 4K filming on a phone. So I need to get better at that. But no, it's just I need to organize it a bit better. I haven't mastered YouTube yet, but because you've got to do a show, I believe. You've got to do a show that you put out on a Sunday, Friday, Saturday, and that's how you gather. And because of what my schedules are like, I've not got used to that. So I need to put that in and make sure that I put something out every week, even if it's not the best quality. I think that's how that'll work.
Yeah, regularity is the key. And look, the next time you're in Dallas, you can come over and you can take a look at the 80 terabyte setup I have, because trust me, between video files and all the photographs, it just eats up space. It's crazy.
Because how do you that's a day of work, a week. If you're creating, it really is, isn't it? It's like sitting down. I should do that.
I'll send you an email to how I accomplished cataloging everything so it made sense, because that was the project. Once you've got that done, it's easy.
You should make a film about that, because I would be straight to watch that. I went to a party at a very famous photographer called Greg Williams, and it was a party at his place in Piccadilly, and he has a full-time archivist, a 9-to-5 dude doing that. Because of the level of content. And that's the first time I've ever been introduced to the idea. He's got a librarian, his work librarian. So everything's named, filed, and dated and copied. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean it is a full-time job. I had to come up with a system that just worked for me, but at least I know by dates now and locations where I can find stuff. So it is a job in and of itself. And I'll definitely send you my method.
Yes, it's boring as well. That's the trouble.
You know what? It is, but I think when I did it, I just I had like a couple of days free, and I'm like, I'm just not going to sit around and do nothing. So I did that and a couple other things, because you got to move it all. But it's, you got to get it done if you're going to keep track of things. Let's talk about your drumming videos, because that was, I mean, you were on fire with those during the lockdown, especially.
Yes.
I love them. I want to know what inspired you to start doing that. Just, putting your drum kit together, getting on a green screen. I'll assume, but you'll tell me if I think those were clips that you probably got out of from a service or something, but you were making your own music to film clips, and it's just brilliant.
So I would cut a rough film, then I would record the drums, and then I would edit music in. So because it's so oddly timed, there's no way I was drumming to the music. I was drumming to the image as it moved, and then I added music afterwards. I tried to take that live. It's so crazy. I really did. I even put it down so I could write a click to it, and it was so out there that it can't. I did a completely different version live, but it had to be all to a stricter click, and driving video it was too complicated. But they all exist as just a piece of bizarre art. Yeah.
For anyone watching who's thought of taking up doing something like that, any words of advice on or any hacks on how to best do it?
Do you know what? I was so driven, but I love it. I mean, I was editing a video this morning, and I just love it. I mean, it's the same as feeling as drumming live comes out when something works and you've got another idea that comes through, and then you do a version and you hate it, and you come back the next morning and you go, well, it's salvageable, all that. I think you don't need any skills. I don't think you need to learn anything. You need to see an image in your head, and you've got to make it work. That's the only hack. And you'll use whatever anything in your power to get that. And that's what music is, really, isn't it? Such great songwriters are hearing something, and they want that to come out the speaker.
Let's talk about this, because I think that you definitely have brought your passion for drumming into this new career of yours, for sure, and I love it. Let's talk a little bit about your drumming. People know you primarily now from Squeeze.
Yes.
I have photographed hundreds of drummers.
Yes.
You are probably one of the happiest looking drummers when you're playing, because some drummers have that Bruce Springsteen look, that eking out that vocal. What is it that keeps your passion and drive for music going? What is your relationship with music, and how does it feed you?
It's how lucky, first of all. There's a massive dollop of gratitude, and I still can't believe I'm 61. I played, Squeeze played 3 festivals last weekend, and there's loads of people out there on those screens. I can't believe it. I mean, I hope it keeps going on, but it's been the most amazing roller coaster. But it doesn't. It feels the same as doing the school disco, which is what I'd be doing at 14. That was, you think, oh my God, this is you're translating an emotion to people somehow, and it's still going. And I'm lucky that people are still turning up, or I'm in a band that has a big audience. I'm very grateful for all that. And that's not my driver. That was the question, wasn't it? What drives me? That feeling of, it's a big gang. Music's a gang, and it's like you're safe when you know you're at the airport and the dude's got his cymbals. You're in a gang with him. You just you can go and chat with him or whatever. And I think musically, it's brilliantly non-competitive, is it? We're not competing. We're making art, and it's non-competitive, so we're all in a big gang. So I'm driven by that. Yeah.
I mean, it certainly shows. I'm curious because I don't think we've ever talked about this, but like, how did you first? What was that first opening door that got you and Glenn together back for the Fluffers that led to all this?
The opening door with Glenn, or just with music?
Well, with Glenn, I mean, look, like how did that evolution from you having whatever kind of encounter you did to where you are now? I mean, it's been a bit.
So my connection to the Squeeze Camp is through Glenn's manager, who was a tour manager for the band I was in the 90s, Suzanne. She would tour manage, and we've been friends for a long time. And she kind of she introduced me into the fold, and I was such a massive fan, but I still haven't told them. They'll know now. No, I was a huge fan, and yeah, that was it. And then I did a few tracks on Glenn's solo album called The Incomplete Glenn Tilbrook, and then we would go out and have a drink, and then the Fluffers evolved, and that was the very best time that we had, because that was kind of an introduction to what's sort of going on now, because we toured England and America without a label, so we were doing everything ourselves. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. We had great shows, playing little clubs, a few bigger shows, but we were driving the bus, we were setting up, we were breaking down, we were I have switched on it's still coming through somehow. Aren't Max clever? Yeah, and then that evolved into Squeeze. So Stephen Large and myself moved into Squeeze, and the funds kept going. And I really like to think that we bring an element of the Fluffers into Squeeze. And Lucy played bass with Squeeze for a while, and there's a feeling that's different because of that. Because I spent so many years in an RV up and down America. Amazing memories. A whole
Do you have
day.
a favorite memory?
Sorry.
Do you have a favorite Do you have a favorite memory from the Fluffers days? Anything stand out that?
Yeah, we did some really nice gigs. Yes, Glenn doing a 15-minute drum solo in Des Moines. We were 24 hours late for a gig once. One of my favorite things was we kept breaking down in an RV, and then we went to watch a football match, and the RV got towed away by the cops. But we'd spent like a week waiting for a breakdown truck, and then things like that. But it all went into. There were moments of stress for everybody, but it was such a good experience.
Yeah. And if you look at Squeeze today, and I think a lot of people agree, it's one of the most solid incarnations of the band. I mean, look at the cast of characters that you have to back up these two musicians who are going into more than 50 years together, and really created, as you just mentioned, going back to it's like still being in that band playing the songs from the jukebox, and you're playing such amazing timeless tunes
Yes.
that are stood the steps out, but you've got an amazing band. I mean, what's it like to have that cast of characters alongside with you?
It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's the whole, yeah. The thing I really love about Squeeze is it's very much moving forwards. So it's a force that's changing, and it's a force that's doing something good with timeless songs. And you know, so lucky, and it has been a solid iteration. It's sort of I've been around it for a while now, and it's just lovely. I'm so grateful to be in the. It's like going home.
It's certainly. I mean, the audience you see not only in the UK but in America who now you've got multiple generations coming out, and it's the what I you know when I talk to people about Squeeze, I you know, they're like, well, who is that? And I'm like, oh, Tempted, Black Coffee in Bed, and you know, Slap and Tickle, and Get Your Gun, and they're like, they know the songs more than they even know the name of the band, but they've had them with them almost their entire lives.
I think that's a wonderful thing, because it's never driven by a trend or a fad it was only driven by the music, and the music back in when I was a kid listening to it was so innovative that it still is, I hope, and I think that's what they do. They're not sort of like a brand. Like somebody, is that the right thing to say? Some bands are just a brand, and then they've got some music. I think Squeeze is music, and exactly as you just said. Oh, and and it's a band, and that's the thing I hear most is people say, "Oh, and came to a gig, and I knew all the songs." That's lovely to hear, isn't it?
Oh, I've brought people to Squeeze gigs before who had never seen them before, never bought a single song, but they walk away going, "I knew it." And the thing that I think is amazing is that it's that I think you just said it. It's like being home, right? It's your gang. You feel included. You really feel included because Chris Difford's lyrics are life.
Yes.
And we all go through this thing of life. And I think that's when there are bands that write about science fiction, they write about news. He really writes from the heart and soul that connects him as a human to everyone else in the world.
Yes. And coupled with melodies that are just, I mean, on that front, Glenn is such a genius. And they are quite complicated, but nobody would know that. I've seen people sit in with a band and the chord sequences are not simple, but everybody thinks they are. And that's a bit of genius, isn't it? I suppose that's with Chris as well. I think the way he writes lyrics, I don't really know why it works. But with Glenn, it's the same. But why is that melody so unbelievably good? Who knows? Something mystical happens.
I was going to say, somebody sprinkled some magic fairy dust on them and gave them something that others don't have, for sure. I mean, they have it. It's really funny. At one time, I was sitting with you, and I never knew this. And a band that I really used to enjoy, they're not around anymore, but I had never known that you were part of The Blessing, which just blew my mind.
I was. So I worked on. So I joined them and I did live stuff with them. Did a whole bunch of recordings, of which some have survived. Yes, a guy called William Topley, who he's amazing. He should have been bigger. That was one of the bands I was mentioning earlier when the label put lots of money into it, and it didn't ever realize. It was never realized as it big. Neil Dorfman, not when I was doing it, did the first record. He's a guy who did Brothers in Arms, I think, producer. And that should have been great. And I've listened back to some of the songs now. They are amazing. I wonder where they are now. He's very big in Boulder, Colorado, I've heard. He's like a super...
Yes,
Yeah. That's all right.
He's huge in Colorado. He's huge in Colorado. He's big. Well, instead of big in Japan, he's big in Colorado. Look, I'm a fan of his music. I mean, to me, for him and that band, what drew me in was his voice. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't have many lead singers who are baritone.
No, he is. It's a lovely deep voice, and he's a nice man. I wonder where he is. We don't talk. We don't talk not on purpose. We just don't talk. I did see him
no,
at one of the writing retreats actually, about 15 years ago. No, it was like he was doing a writing night, and I went along, and he was there. He said, "Oh, hi, how are you?"
That's fabulous. And yeah, I mean, you've had a great career. Now, I don't know if there's anything you can give away on this or not, but there is, we're getting into the late part of the year, and there's supposed to be 2 Squeeze albums coming out. Is that still on the horizon? Because you guys are touring like crazy, and you've got a huge tour that's going to be madness in the winter.
I don't know what the schedule will be, but we have been working on music which is incredible. It's above my pay grade to know when it's coming out, but it's unbelievable. It's just it's so refreshing, and to have been in the room to hear some of the music and watch it come to life was such a treat.
Let me ask you this, because you made note that Squeeze is about moving forward, but one of the 2 albums were songs that were written almost 50 years ago.
Yes.
What was it like to have to work with them on crafting music written so long ago to give it the sense of Squeeze now?
It was unbelievable. Well, the first thing was that there was some like drop jaw moments that they were writing songs as children. That was unbelievable. And then to watch them craft them, as you've said, into something nowadays, it was even better. I've written some songs, but they're not brilliant. And to be in a room with someone like Glenn, to see his cogs going and watching him move stuff around in the song, pinch yourself. To have been inside that, to be in that inner sanctum was, how lucky. I must have done something good in a previous life.
Well, I think generally you are good. I mean, one of the things that connected us early on was Glenn's support of Love, Hope, Strength.
Yes.
And I know that you're generous with supporting charities.
Yeah.
So I think that is something, when you give to the world that way, it comes back to you.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in a lucky enough position to be there, yes, definitely. Well, but not to be woohoo or spiritual, I think, it comes back to you really quick if you're good to everyone. It really does. So, yeah, there's no brainer, really. How is Love, Hope? Where is Love, Hope, Strength? How is it?
Well, I mean, you're probably aware that Mike passed, right? You know that.
Recently, yes. That's tragic.
Yeah. Sadly, we lost Mike. There are some rumblings that it could come back to the States, but they're going strong in the UK, and the support has never been stronger. And my understanding is that Jules is going to continue that as part of his legacy. And I think it's fabulous. I mean, we need to be helping people in that way.
Yes.
Around the world.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Yeah. So it's sad that he's gone, but he will certainly not be forgotten. And I think when you give thought to what would a legacy be,
yes,
right?
Yes, definitely.
All the people he saved.
Yes, there you go. Gosh, yeah. Well, and he was a happy man.
Oh,
I saw him about a year ago, whatever it was, in a drum shop in Wales, and he was just so happy.
And he kept that spirit through the end. I mean, he never gave up.
No.
Eventually his body gave in, but his spirit and soul never gave up. And that speaks a lot for him and the human that he was. For sure.
Definitely.
For sure. Have you been working on any of your own solo music outside of the filmmaking? I mean, you've got, was it Songs from the Silver Box, which I think was made entirely on an iPad, if I remember correctly. Have you got anything else on the horizon?
I put another record out, but I think for me, how to market music's really changed. So I put another record out. It was just a diary, and then I started working on a dance project which was film based. So it was sort of drum and bass ish, with the music was films, and I was going to take it live. And I got an agent, and I did a few shows, but it was so much work. And then I started touring and doing other stuff, and it gets put back. And I think you have to put everything into that. I'd love to pick that up again, but also it needed really bright screens, which are very expensive. And if you just started out, it's hard. Just using a projector in a small club, the point was lost. It's just like, what's that bloke? It's drumming to silly music, and there's faint, yeah. So it needed LED screens. I'd love to pick that up at some point. I have to get a sponsor.
Hey, any sponsors out there? You know where to find them. There'll be links to contact them below. Was that hybrid, or was that something different?
No, that was a hybrid, a band up and running, and that I just latched onto because I knew them from my days in a band called Death in Vegas. So Mike and Lottie were friends. It was just me. It was me in the back of my car with a projector, a drum kit, and and it was great. It really, really worked in the room. But the point of the art was lost because I ended up doing a couple of festivals in the dance tent, and the music worked, but I really wanted it to be about the film, and I really wanted it not to be focused on me drumming, but like the film was a singer, so it was a duet. It was a drummer and a singer, and the film was as important as a singer, and the drummer was there as well. And that was the idea. So I will come back to it.
I mean, whoever's watching that happens to update your Wikipedia page needs to put a mixed media artist on your Wikipedia.
Yes. Yeah. Isn't Wikipedia funny? It's really, I love the idea. I mean, why would I have a page? But I do. And then the way it's written is just sort of hilarious, isn't it? Because it pops. I don't read it every day, every other day. But the way it changes is great. It's moderated by robots and then a human at the end. I'm assuming. It's not all
so
humans.
What is there any serious inaccuracy that people should know about in your Wikipedia that's not true?
No, not that. It's all. I think it's all totally bang on. But the way it was worded originally was clearly somebody from Sweden. I think because it was sort of seemed to be all upside down, and I'm so grateful I'm there. I mean, it's hard. It's not easy to get a Wikipedia page now. I mean, why should I have one? I don't understand.
Because you're Simon Hanson.
Yes,
you're Simon Hanson. You do great things. I mean, come on. I mean, that's I think you've earned it. I think you've earned it for sure. So besides going out with Madness, which knock on wood, maybe I can come over for. And I'd love to, because I get to see you and Madness, who just they keep they like squeeze our life's jukebox. I mean, they just, it's amazing how they can play a 45-minute set and play every single song in the catalog.
Yeah. Yes. We've worked with them before, and they're lovely. It's a good mix. It's a very, very good mix. We've never been to America with them, and they do well on the west and east coast, don't they?
Yes, they played Punk Rock Bowling 2 years ago,
right?
And I don't know if you've ever been to the Punk Rock Bowling Festival. It's been around about 25 years, but
in Vegas,
as festivals go, in Vegas, as festivals go, that punk rock community. I've never been to a festival with so much kindness and love for one another, because it's almost a festival of misfits, right? And Madness headlined the last night, closed the night out with "It Must Be Love."
Yeah.
And you could actually feel it in your soul amongst the people there. It was an incredible experience. That'd be great if you guys toured with them.
It would. "It Must Be Love" is a Labby Siffery song. It's a cover.
It
is. And do you know what? If you listen to the Labby Siffery version, which is amazing, then you realize how brilliant Madness were at rearranging stuff, including their own songs. There was some kind of genius in that.
I own the original. I love the original.
Yes.
And I've been trying to learn it on piano, actually. Since my hands aren't as good on guitar these days. maybe put this bug, Glenn, if you're watching, if the boss is watching, or Suzanne the boss is watching, maybe like you guys did with the psychedelic furs would be a great idea for a tour of America. Just throwing it out there, because putting it out in the universe.
Love the psychedelic furs. I only knew a few songs, but got to hang out with those guys for a couple of months was a pleasure. God, aren't we lucky?
Yeah. Well, perhaps you can do that with Madness. What else does the rest of the year have in store for you, though? Any other projects you're working on? Any other output?
So I've been sitting in with a band I was in the 90s called the Choir Boys, a rock band, because their drummer, who's Canadian, has got a bad hand, and it's expensive to come over. So I've been filling in for him, which has been great. That's like a bit of a school reunion. Yeah, to see who's put the most weight on and who's lost the most hair. but it's been really, really nice to go out every weekend, and there's a lot of laughter. And my very best friend who passed away 2 years ago, Guy Bailey, it was his band and he'd written the songs. So it's nice to play his songs in the same sort of way, and I can feel his writing, and it's lovely. That's a reason for being there as well. Yeah.
No, that's fabulous. That's you're blessed to have an opportunity to do that and help someone be remembered that way. I think that's
incredible. That's lovely. And yeah, it's an old boys club. It's funny. I know the songs better than them if they're watching.
He just give the man a raise. Give the man a raise. He's the best one on stage.
Oh no, they're very generous. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always curious about having opportunities to work with other people, and I truly believe that once we put it out there, anything can happen.
Right.
People have seen this podcast and driven 3 hours through Germany to see an album release show. People show up in lobbies where I've been and for artists because they've seen them on the podcast. So we like to put good things out there. If you had one opportunity in your life to work with another musician that you haven't yet,
yes,
and spend a day in a studio being creative, it could be film, it could be music, it could be mixed media, who would that be, and why would you want to work with them?
The top of my pile will be Chris Cunningham, because he did something for me. Now, Chris Cunningham's a video director, and he's most famous for making a film for Aphex Twin called Come to Daddy. And I've watched everything he's done. I've even been in a band where he made a video, and I wasn't aware of who he was at the time. So that was a door. And I did go to the shoot. I wasn't in the video; it's just a singer. But I went to the shoot, and it was bizarre. His working methods was bizarre. And then about 2 years later, I discovered him on the internet, and I went, "You idiot! You were there in the room with him. I'd like to go back to him." He has this great theory that the less money he has, the better the video is, and that if you've got an idea and no budget, you can make a better film than a budget with no idea. And I don't know who, if you're not familiar with his work, he did the Bjork video where she's a robot. He did the Aphex Twin where the guy's in LA dancing and everybody in the video has a mask of Richard from Aphex Twin. I think he's somebody I'd like to get inside his mind. But musicians, it's hard now. Prince has gone. Imagine me playing for Prince. That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
But you would look great in purple. You'd look great in purple. You'd wear it well.
I think I've always been a fan of Peter Gabriel. I think he's amazing melody writer. So melody writer is amazing. I'm not sure I'd get on very well with the way he records, because he takes years. And I'm so lucky. I've played with a lot of people I really liked. So I don't know who it would be now. Yeah, I don't know who I'd collaborate with.
I think with your rhythm style, I think working with Peter Gabriel would be amazing. Although because of the fact that it can take him years, you move a little faster than that. So you never know if you'd align on pace.
I know. My girlfriend says that. Even going to the shop, she says, "Slow down." I go, no, I've got to get everything. We go, let's do it. Let's finish it.
I feel the same way. There's so much to do in life. I don't do the art of nothing well.
No, me neither. No need. Yeah. There's always something to do.
Well, one of the other things we talked a little bit about, you're making videos to as a business model for yourself, and your music, your music that you have out currently is on the internet, but I can't imagine you're making a ton of money off of Spotify. I mean, maybe it's because that Spotify money is the little money for the better video. I don't know. But it's important that we support artists, and I'll have links down for anything that's available that you have. So people need to experience. They need the Simon Hanson experience.
Yeah, I think yes. It's interesting you're saying that. I know we're probably running out of time, but it's been quite a few. We've all got to come to terms with the fact that the model has changed. It's gone, and whilst it is not fair what Spotify are doing, and even Google in a way, but it's here, it's happening, and we have to move on to other ways to finance art again, and rather than get cross with it. And I don't think it's, the Patreon model's great as well, but that's now changing, and it's evolving into whatever will be next. There is a lot of great music, and there's a lot of great artists, but I think we're all like sitting in a market stall, like a farmer's market, and people have to come to us and find us. Yeah.
And art isn't free. Art takes effort, and the supplies and the time, and even if you run a studio, if you're not recording in your home bedroom, it all takes a little money. So I think it's important to support artists. So I'm going to have some links. So people support Simon. Yes. I know that he does product endorsements. Buy those products so and tell them you buy them because Simon told you to buy a mic or a drum or whatever he's got out there in his videos. There'll be links to, you can see a bunch of them. I honestly, the crux of this conversation, I really wanted to spend some time with you, my friend, to get inside your head on this video stuff, because I think it's brilliant that you've expanded your artistic endeavors.
It's a great. Thank you very much, and it's much more interesting for me to talk about. It's a great world out there. I mean, you could make a movie on your phone now. Me, and you could make an Oscar-winning movie today. Script. What did I read the other day? What's the three most important things about a film? Is the script, and the script. It's the idea.
I'll send you some ideas. I'll send you some ideas. Maybe we'll collaborate. One other thing that I want to cover before we go is when you're not outperforming the music of Squeeze and other artists, you're relaxing, you're just enjoying your time away from the actual performance piece of it or being creative. Is there anyone that you're listening to right now that you're really digging, that you're just enjoying, that if we were in a pub having a pint, you'd be a Scott, I've been hearing this artist, you got to listen to it. I really dig it.
The Dare, a band called The Dare. Great. Yeah, just got into it. Yeah. It's electro. Check it out. It's electro. I think it's New York based. There's just something very, very raw about the sound and his lyrics, or their lyrics. I don't know who's who or what's what, but I was driving somewhere and it came on and it just punched me. So I listened to everything they did that day. That's me. Wow. And I love. I'm gonna. There's a great thing. I do like electronic music because if I listen to a track that's got drumming in it, I'm just going to analyze it and go, I wouldn't do that. But if it's electronic music, I can switch everything off and go, I'm a punter. I'm in the audience. I'm not going, I wonder what hi-hats he's got, or something as dull as that.
There is nothing there. I mean, everyone, there is nothing dull about Simon. You need to check him out. Go check his Wikipedia page for sure. Yeah. Check it on the days that he doesn't check it. And check out his videos. And if you are a drummer, there's one out there that I noticed recently that you kind of simplified. That was it, one or two basic things that drummers need to master, yes. And then the rest.
Don't go deep. That was the idea, is because you can spend a lot of time learning technical stuff. Frank Boff, that's the drum beat. Frank Boff. That's the one.
Yeah, well, you know what? We've learned a lot today, and there's a lot to be learned. And everyone, please, I wanted to do this a while because as a filmmaker myself, just seeing the output that Simon's putting out there is amazing, and it'll bring you into his world and his music. And I don't know if anyone can really get inside the head of Simon Hanson, but you'll get pretty close.
That's
Simon,
in my therapy, Scott. Thank you. Therapy. I'm not rocking. I am rocking. Love it to see you, mate.
Thank you so much for spending time with us. Everybody, join us for more hangs. Go out, support Simon's work, support other artists, keep artists in business. We need them more than ever. So thanks, Simon. I appreciate it. And good to see you, mate.
Yes. Bye, Scott.